Bingo. All right, I'm live. Well, you see the title, so I'm going to get right into this. Donald Trump is at a town hall meeting with Hannity, and these are always fun. We're going to get into this right after this intro.
Now, we got a red dragon in the
Listen.
We got the beast bumping in the building. All right. Where's he coming from? We've got Reese Ross. The red dragon.
Reese for the win today. Reese for the win.
Dragon.
Listen. Back. Listen. Reese. Back. Listen. Hard.
Dracarys.
Back.
I confess it.
Listen.
This is only one call.
Back.
Is the one.
Reese.
There is only one thing. Say
Listen. Hard.
today.
Here's the biggest lie ever told. The story. Money doesn't matter.
Back. Listen. Hard.
Dragon.
Listen. Reese.
Dracarys.
Back.
Violence. I confess it.
Listen.
We need someone that people trust.
Back.
Someone they know cannot be bought. Influence.
Hard. Chaos.
Knowledge.
Your loyalty. Free of charge.
Dragon.
Back.
Someone who's very big.
You can't tell a woman, I'm coming for your body.
Listen.
The idea
Chaos.
that we control the dragon
Listen.
isn't an illusion.
Dracarys.
Back.
Sit down and spend some time with the red dragon. Reese from Philly. Live.
The one who was the story of your greed and another. Over. Did we forget that it's a lie? What do we have left to possibly that lie?
Listen. Reese.
I actually think this is a little talented.
The dragon.
I am the dragon.
He's only one.
Man's entertaining. Is he not entertaining? He is entertaining. Good deed.
I am the dragon.
Listen. Reese.
Dragon.
Hard. Chaos.
Now, we got a red dragon.
I actually think this is a little talented.
Love that intro. All right. It's time to get to Donald Trump. Let's share this. Come on, do everything right. All right, here we go. Yeah, this is going to be
2,000
interesting.
miles on an electric truck. You have nothing left because the battery is so large. Believe it or not, it takes up most of the space. So that's a little problem. But it only goes 300 miles. And yet it doesn't matter to them. A child would understand, therefore you can't do it. You talk about a supply chain problem, therefore you can't do it. The country is sick. And you say this, do they know what they're doing? Are they smart? Or do they know what they're doing? How could they do it? I see John Kerry all over the place talking about we have to get rid of our coal plants. And yet China is building one coal plant a week, massive coal plants, and they're doing it just automatically. And John Kerry wants us to stop doing anything. We can't. We have a country. We have to fire up our factories. Wind is not going to fire up our factories, and it's the most expensive energy. Even solar. I like solar from a concept standpoint, but it's massively expensive. And we can't allow China to build a factory a week, and we do nothing. They build a coal plant, and they're obvious about it. And then Biden goes to see them about global warming. The only global warming we should be thinking about and worrying about, because it could happen tomorrow, is nuclear global warming, not global warming.
We almost have to go to a break. I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody,
Except for day one.
except
Look,
for
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
meaning.
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not that's
drill.
that's not
No, no.
that's not retribution.
I'm gonna be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not gonna be a dictator, are you? I said, no, 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 other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling, drilling, drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator,
So
okay?
that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right,
That's exactly
take a break. Just getting started. We're in beautiful Davenport, Iowa. Donald Trump with us for the hour as Hannity continues. Thank you for being with us.
All right, apparently this is some type of commercial break, but this video's been on for a while, so I could just fast forward past this. I hope without problems. Or maybe not. Come on now. I hope not. That's not all the footage y'all can get. What the fuck? Well, I guess all of the apparently this video is gone. So what I'm going to do is go to YouTube, right? And find another content creator watching the same thing. All right, let's see. I hate to steal from this brother right here, but I got to do it.
Because I wasn't driving.
The trial.
All right, I think I found it. All right, what's this brother's channel? I got to give him a shout out before I steal his shit. It's Lou Valentino. You'll see it in a second. All right, here we go. Yeah, I'm set. So
It's him, and he was at
Trump is coming back on in a minute or so.
which was if this ever again.
With former President
Here we go.
Donald Trump as we now head into the Iowa caucus season. A two-part question on Joe Biden. One is about his cognitive decline, and the second is about the Biden family syndicate, as I call it. Let's first play an RNC ad about Joe Biden. Take a look.
But the nature, not when the political coverage that, look, some of the political and some of the let me ask a rhetorical question. No, anyways.
Now, I could play tape from almost every day. I think
I ain't gonna lie, you tweaked out right there.
So my question is, what do you think about his cognitive state? And number two, the issue of Hunter Biden, Joe Biden lying to the country as a candidate and president. I never had a discussion with Hunter or my brother or anybody for that matter on foreign business deals. We know, according to Devin Archer, he was on phone calls. We know he was meeting with oligarchs like the former First Lady of Moscow or Cafe Milano. Doesn't seem to get the attention in the media that anything involving you gets. What is your reaction to both?
Well, you know, they've been after all of my numbers and facts and figures, and they found out that it was incredible. Somebody said, you must be the most honest guy in the world, because after all these years, and they saw everything, my tax returns, they saw everything, went up to the ceiling and they saw it. He is number one from your standpoint, cognitively. You like to use that word, cognitively. He's not good, but it's not for me to say. I will say this. I just saw a commercial by these lowlifes where they took me imitating him at a speech where we were all having a lot of fun. It's not really fun because we shouldn't be joking about it. I actually told Sean, you shouldn't joke about it. It's serious. We're dealing with nuclear. We're dealing with.
By the way, that
other
is a
leaders.
true story. You
That's true.
actually called me and said it's not funny because I was
Not
joking
funny.
about it.
That's not funny
And
at all.
I said, I thought about it and I said, you're right. And I said, how come you never listen to my advice?
But it's true. It's actually true, unfortunately. But so I imitated him, not finding his way off the stage. It's not really that hard. You're looking around, and I walk into a wall. I say, "Let me see," and I do that a lot. I just sort of at some of our rallies, and then I'll say, "Our real president is Barack Hussein Obama." They'll say, "He doesn't know who the president is. He thinks it's Barack Hussein." No, I'm being sarcastic. They imitate it, but they're disgraceful. I'll tell you what. We are dealing, and you are dealing. I got to know them all, the leaders of the world. I got to know them all, and they're at the top of their game. Some are bad people, some are decent people. They all have one thing in common. They want what's good for their country, whether it's President Xi of China or Kim Jong-un of North Korea. You would have been, if Hillary got in, you would have been in a nuclear war. That would have been a nuclear war. Any one of them, they're all, including Macron of France. I mean, you can go to any of them. Putin. They're at the top of their game. We have somebody that was never at the top of his game. 25 years ago, he wasn't one of the light bulbs. He wasn't one of the bright ones. And I tell the story. So Ted Kennedy, believe it or not, was a friend of mine because of Palm Beach. They lived in Palm Beach at what's called the Kennedy compound. And I did him a big favor one time, and somehow he liked me. I liked him, even though we were opposite in many ways, politically, certainly. And I said to him, "Who's the smartest guy in the Senate?" And he gave me a name. I don't want to tell you because I really don't like the guy at all. Still around. I said, "Who's the dumbest?" He said, "Probably Joe." I said, "Who's Joe?" "Joe Biden." It's the first time. I said, And that was it. And now I see when he's not in prime time for himself, I mean, years later, he failed on being president when he was like normal. Something is going wrong. And we can't afford it because we have a problem today. Nuclear weapons is the single biggest problem the world has. And we have people, it used to be 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, even 3 years ago, nobody would have thought about nuclear. You couldn't mention the word. Now it's being mentioned at every meeting. Every time you talk, it's being mentioned. The level of power of the nuclear weapons is incredible.
Scary.
Like take Hiroshima or take Nagasaki, and you look, and that was many, many decades ago, and multiply that times 500. That's what a big bomb would be today, whether it's Israel or really major countries. Nuclear weapons are the biggest problem we have, and we have a man that can't put two sentences together. We have a man that doesn't know he's alive, and he's backed up by the media. The biggest problem we have, the media. The media is fake. I came up with the term a long time ago, and they won't talk about it.
Let me ask you this.
If I did some of the things that he did, they'd reinstitute the death penalty. Okay? They don't want to talk about it. When he gets paid $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife, when I brought it up at a debate, and Chris Wallace was moderating. How's he doing, by the way? Not too good. Chris Wallace, whatever happened to Chris Wallace? And I said, why is he getting $3.5 million? I want to ask him that question. And Chris Wallace interceded because Joe didn't know he was alive. And so Chris Wallace interceded, and he said, you shouldn't be asking that. And now it's a big subject. And I talked about it literally 3 years ago. But why does all this money come in from China? We took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs from China. We gave the farmers, by the way, $28 billion. That's why I say I'm going to win Iowa. I had my people say, please, sir, don't keep saying you're going to win Iowa. You sound so really horrible, crass. Somebody said crass. I said, but it's true. We're going to win Iowa. I gave the farmers $28 billion, and I got it from China. Who else could do that? Who else would be able to do it? Number one, who else would think about it? I think about it because the farmers were hurt very badly by China for many years. And I asked our Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue, I said, Sonny, how much damage has been done over the past 7 years, 8 years? He came back, $28 billion. I said, I'm getting it from China. And I got it. And I told the farmers, go out and buy more land and go out and buy bigger tractors, right? You remember that? And I said, I'm going to win Iowa because nobody else is going to be able to do that.
Let me ask you, when prominent Democratic voices like Maureen Dowd and David Axelrod and Van Jones and others are so critical of Joe Biden. And of course, he is struggling cognitively. I can't think of, in the last couple of months, any appearance that he has had where he wasn't either mumbling or bumbling or stumbling or having no clue where to go, where to exit. Now, my question is, do you think in 11 months he will be their candidate?
I personally don't think he makes it. Okay, I haven't said that. I'm saving it for this big town hall. I personally don't think he makes it. I think he's in bad shape physically. Do you remember when he said, I'd like to take him behind the barn? If he took me behind the barn and I went like this, I believe he'd fall over. I believe he'd fall over. And who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But it was okay. And by the way, it was okay for him to say that. He said, I'd like to take him behind the. He could say that and everyone thought it was so cute. If I ever said it, they'd say, he's a dictator. He's a horrible human being. You know, it's a whole double standard we have, and not only in the law, but just about everything else, as you know very well. I personally don't think he makes it physically. I watched him at the beach. He wasn't able to lift a beach chair, which is meant for children to lift. You can lift him like that. And mentally, I would say he's possibly equally as bad and maybe worse, but I don't know. I will say this, he's got vicious people surrounding him around that beautiful Oval Office. There are people in that Oval Office that are evil people, bad people, smart people, young, vicious. They're communists and they're bad.
Who do you think would replace him then?
Well, I saw one person on who I actually had a very good relationship with, but I'm sure that it would end very quickly. I saw him in your debate the other night, and he's slick, but he's got no facts. You know, he's got no facts. I thought he did well, considering.
You're talking about Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, considering that he didn't have the facts, I thought he did well. You know, he said, we have the lowest taxes in the country. We have the cleanest streets in the country. And I'm saying, wait a minute, is he talking about the same place? So he'd certainly be one. I guess they say that Kamala would be the odds to be. Because they say if they didn't give it to her, the African-American vote, the black vote, would not go to them. And we just had a poll where I'm at 22 and 25% with the black vote. If we have that, we can call the election over.
We got to take a break.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. A lot more to cover with former President Trump as we continue. We are in beautiful Davenport, Iowa. Thank you for being with us.
All right, I'm going to fast forward through his video and see if Trump comes back.
This combo, this will probably be the last commercial break anyways, and then we can have a full-blown combo. If you guys can hang in there for me, please. David and everybody else in there.
Fun crowd, a rowdy crowd, and with GOP frontrunner President Donald Trump. Let me just throw out a list of some of the significant issues that we're facing as a country, and you've touched on a number of them. You mentioned borders day one. You mentioned energy day one. Look at where our economy is. Last year, $2 trillion in debt. 34 trillion overall.
Right.
We this year, Mr. President, will pay, before we spend a dime, $1 trillion on debt service alone,
right.
Before Medicare, Social Security, national defense. That is unsustainable.
Yeah. So before COVID hit us, our gift from China, that was our gift. What happened to us with COVID, commonly known as the China virus. They don't like that. But it was a China virus. We were doing energy, taking our liquid gold out of the ground at a rate that's never been seen before, and it was going up. We were going to be using that liquid gold to sell to Europe instead of the pipeline from Russia, which I exposed and I stopped. You know, I stopped that line. Then they say I was nice to Russia. There was nobody that was nice. I was not nice to Russia. I stopped that pipeline. We would have been selling oil and gas to Europe, to Asia, all over the world. We would have been paying off debt. That debt would be way down right now because we have more. What people don't know, we have more liquid gold than any other country in the world by far. And we started off in 4th place. We were number 4. It was Saudi Arabia, it was Russia, it was 2 countries fighting for number 3, and it was us at number 4 or 5. By the time I left, we were number 1 by 25%. We would have been number one by 100, and we would have done twice what they were going to do combined. We would have been paying off debt, and we would have been
That's what I wanna
reducing
ask you.
taxes. We gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, bigger than the Reagan tax cut. We would have been reducing taxes still further. And that's why, Sean, that's why we had the most jobs of any president ever, because we got rid of regulations, tremendous. No president got rid of more regulations or close. And we gave you the big tax cut. So everybody had incentive and everybody was happy and everybody was working. I remember groups came to see me that wouldn't normally like me, and they said, we've never seen anything like it. We were actually starting to get along, but we got hit with the China virus. Some people think purposely. I don't. I think it was incompetence, but some people think purposely, because we were doing so much better than any other country ever, and we got hit. But I will tell you, we would be paying that debt off right now at levels like never seen before,
So if
and
we
it would have
became-
been a beautiful thing.
You brought us to energy independence for the first time in 75 years. Before you ran, I remember we had many discussions about energy independence, and you're saying that you would, in a second term, you will push America to be the most energy dominant country on earth, and that you could pay down that $34 trillion in debt, and we won't have $1 trillion interest payment every year.
That's right. We would get it way down. And, look, so it's Biden inflation. That's what it is. What he did with energy is unbelievable, because energy went up so much, gasoline, $5, $6 a gallon, that's what caused inflation. Now it's all over the place, but you have 29% total inflation. Now, when it holds up, because the economy is starting to slow down very substantially. So when it holds up, he's saying, well, we don't have too much inflation, but he doesn't talk about all of the inflation that you've had to suffer over the last 3 years. No, we will have numbers like you've never seen. We have a thing in Alaska called ANWR. Ronald Reagan tried to get it approved. Everybody should push maybe a little bit, it didn't work as hard, but we have ANWR in Alaska, the biggest anywhere in the world, including probably Saudi Arabia. I got it approved. I was so proud of it. They ended it in the first week. They ended it. They turned, we'll get it back. But we have more than anybody. We have more wealth than anybody, but we don't use it. And then guys like DeSantis and guys like many of the Democrats, but guys like DeSantis and to a lesser extent, Nikki Haley, they want to play around with your Social Security. You don't have to touch Social Security. We have money laying in the ground far greater than anything we can do by hurting senior citizens with their Social Security. Ron DeSantis wanted to bring up on Social Security. Now, of course, he says, well, I wouldn't. But one thing I learned about politicians, I've known them, I've dealt with them on the other side for a long time. Their first thought is always the thought that they go to. He wanted to raise the minimum age, the age on Social Security to 70. That's a big increase. But he also wanted to raise it to 75. If that happened, people would be devastated. We have such incredible wealth under our feet that takes care of everything. It will take care of, if you go to Saudi Arabia and they bought many Boeings, many planes, and I said to them, do you use financing for that? They didn't even know what the word meant. They have so much money. They have a fund, $21 trillion. It's all for oil. And we have more oil and gas than they do. Our country can be rich again. John Kerry has to be stopped. He's destroying our country. This guy. I mean, think of it. He goes all over the world in a private jet, by the way. He goes all over the world talking to these people about getting rid of coal plants. They all laugh at him. They, treat him with respect. He's gone. They say, what an idiot. What a jerk. And then they go ahead and they build their coal plants. He goes to China about, let's say, the atmosphere. He talks about global warming. He talks about all, they don't call it global warming so much. Now they call it climate change because it wasn't working. Global warming wasn't working when it was cooling. So now they call it climate change. That takes care of everything. I am an environmentalist, but we're going to destroy our country with this Green New Deal stuff that doesn't work. Just to finish, we have so much wealth and power under our feet. No other country has it. China doesn't have it. Why are we going to electric? They do have what you need to do the batteries, but they don't have what you need to do the gasoline. We have, and it's what people want to drive. Right now, And there's a little story about it, but you're going to see it a lot, I guarantee you. They have so many electric vehicles, nobody wants to buy them. They're expensive, well, they can probably get them.
By the way,
now, nobody wants to buy them.
3,000 dealers around the country wrote Biden and said, please stop making us sell something they don't want. Ford lost $4.5 billion. Let me ask you this.
You know the government is subsidizing that.
A lot, they're
So
paying a
they're
lot.
saying every time you make a car, we give you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and the people don't want them. And you know, I'm not knocking electric cars. We should sell electric, but we should also sell combustion engine gasoline cars. We can sell hybrids. The hybrids are fine. We should be able to buy everything. Some people might like an electric car. We should be able to buy an electric car. But to say that we're not going to do, and this is our strength because we have this stuff under the ground and we have people going around really destroying our country. They're destroying our country at the border. They will allow, in my opinion, because you don't hear the real numbers, 15 million people into our country by the time Biden gets out, which hopefully will be very soon. If they get another term, this country is finished. By the time he gets out, and the people are coming from prisons all over the world, they're coming from mental institutions all over the world, and they're terrorists. And this country is going to be suffering a very big price. It's amazing that it hasn't happened. And interestingly, I had very strong borders, the strongest ever. We had the strongest border in history. All they had to do is leave Brandon Judd and leave Tom Homan and leave all these guys.
Let me put this up on the screen.
Yeah, we had the strongest borders in
Let me
history.
put this on the screen.
Go ahead.
Iran is the #1 state sponsor of terror.
Right.
Okay, well, foreign nationals founded our southern border because of Joe Biden's open borders.
Right.
From Iran, 659. From Syria, 538. From Afghanistan, 6,386. Egypt, 3,153. 12,605 from Russia. 26,113 from China. Now, can you explain to me, what do you think the odds are that among that group of people, from our top geopolitical foes in most cases, that terrorist cells have entered the country because of the 8 million people Joe Biden has allowed into this country unvetted? What are the odds?
The odds are 100%. Look, why do we have 26,000
How scary is that?
Think of it. It's 100. No, it's 100%. And by the way, we had nothing during remember I had the travel ban. I said, I don't want people coming from countries that want to blow us up. And we put a travel ban, and some people thought I was discriminating. But if you think about it, I went 4 years with no problem. We didn't have any problem. We didn't have buildings being knocked down. We didn't have World Trade Centers. We didn't have any of that. We had a very strong travel ban. And if you came from a country that was a country, I can tell you right now, I can name every one of them. We just didn't want you. I'm sorry. And we actually had it passed by the Supreme Court. And that was a big day. But we didn't have a problem.
Got to take a break. We'll come back. More with that from Davenport, Iowa, with former President Donald Trump. Straight ahead as we continue.
I don't know if Lou Valentino showed the rest of this, but I'll fast forward through his video and check it. We'll see.
People of Iowa, the first caucus, not that far away. Your final message to the people?
Well, first of all, I love this state. We had 2 big victories here, big victories. We won by a lot. And from the enthusiasm in the polls, we're going to win by a lot more than we won even the last 2 times. But we won by a lot. I kept you first in the nation. You know that. I was the one. Nobody else. I kept you first. There was a big move, Sean, to move Iowa into the middle or to the back of the pack because they don't know if it represents this country. I said, Iowa represents this country more than any place, and it also represents tradition. When you think of Iowa, you think of farms and you think of politics, and we're going to keep it that way, okay? But I just want to thank the people in this room because they really get it. I don't have to go through the liquid gold with them. They know all about it. And they also know they have their own liquid gold. It's called corn. Okay. And that corn is just as good. But I love you very much. You've been so incredible to me. I'm going to be around for the next, it's 5 weeks now. and we'll be coming here a little bit. And then the last couple of weeks, we'll be blitzing because we don't want to we're up, I guess, by like 30 or 40 points, but we're not taking any chances. We don't want to take any chance. And you know, the really nice thing, you know, when you have a good time and when you love people and they love you, this hour went so fast. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
President Donald Trump.
All right, that's the end of the town hall debate. So I heard some good stuff there. Trump has a plan. You see what's going on right now, regardless of what your feelings are of him, or if you believed all those bullshit lies they've been telling over the last, 10 fucking years. If it comes down to Biden and Trump, trust me, go out and vote for Donald Trump like your life depends on it. Because it does. It's real this time. Biden and Kamala said that when they were running, but they were lying. They won the election and fucked the world up. 3 nations on this planet have fallen in Biden's administration. 3 nations. Afghanistan, Ukraine, and now Gaza. Gone. Those places are not what they used to be anymore. You can go Google images. There are cities that are fucking rocks now. Piles of rocks. Well, not Afghanistan, but everybody knows what happened there. So you got 3 wars going on in one administration. I don't know. Has food ever been this high in history? Never. I don't think so. We had problems with gas for a little while. Lumber. Everything you could possibly imagine. I know I'm suffering. I don't know about y'all. Regardless of what your feelings are for Trump. If it comes down to him and Biden, black people are going to have to swallow their pride and do the right thing. I am tired of living like this. And I'm against anybody who votes for Biden again. Because all that means is you want all this shit to continue and get worse. It's looking like these people trying to start World War III. There are other countries involved. This isn't just Gaza versus Israel. These weapons and resources are coming from other places. Someone fired some rockets at civilian ships and a U.S. warship, which is in the area, by the way. What the fuck is a U.S. warship doing there? I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video about that later. But that don't sound good at all. Look at all this shit going on, man. You got to be crazy to vote for Biden again. Not going to talk too much shit. I'll get crazy on here. I'm going to end this live. If I got time, I'll go show Lou Valentino some love on his panel. I mean, I did steal his content, but I had to. Shout out to Lou. And shout out to Daryl Long that stopped by, man. I roasted Daryl Long, but I don't want people to think I hate him or I'm beefing with him or nothing. Daryl Long is my guy, man. I go on his panels and shit, you know. People say what they say about him. I have too. But the dude is all right, man. He's been working hard on YouTube. Had a couple verbal slips I know he wish he could take back, but he's a good guy, man. I remember when his channel first started, when he barely had anybody. I was watching him then. That's right, Daryl Long. When it was 4 people listening when you first started, one of them was me. This was before I started commenting and hit panel. I met him on the Block with Jen show. On the Block with Jen is the baddest chick on YouTube over 40, except for maybe Zaza Ali. Sorry, Jen. Zaza's the queen. But that's where I met Daryl Long. Shout out to my guy, Daryl Long. No beef here. I roasted him, but that's my guy, man. Anybody that isn't already subscribed to Daryl Long, his channel is described as Everything Everyday Podcast by Daryl Long. Go subscribe to his channel. He supports women, right? He's an advocate for female rights and female protection. Nothing wrong with that at all. He gets into battles with the manosphere, and it's all a game. It ain't nothing too much. Go show the boy some love, man. I'm the Red Dragon, and I'm out.